On a cold autumn evening in New York City, 16-year-old Ethan Walker stood alone on the subway platform at Grand Central Station. The wind rushed through the tunnels, carrying the distant rumble of trains and the faint smell of rain from the streets above. Ethan checked his phone again. No messages, no calls. His mother was working late again, and his father had moved to another state months ago. Most days, Ethan felt invisible, like just another face in a city of millions. But tonight, something strange was about to happen, something that would change his life forever. The digital clock on the wall flickered, 11:47 p.m. The last train should have left already. Ethan sighed and started walking toward the exit. Then, suddenly, a loud metallic screech echoed through the tunnel. A train was arriving, but something about it felt wrong. The train was old, very old. Its metal body looked like it belonged to another century. The paint was faded, and the headlights glowed with a soft golden light instead of the bright white LEDs used on modern trains. The train slowly rolled into the station. No one else seemed to notice. People kept walking. Some were looking at their phones, others were talking, but no one looked at the train. Ethan frowned. "That's weird," he whispered. The doors opened with a long hiss. Inside, the lights were warm and dim, like an old library. And there was only one passenger, an old man wearing a dark coat and a wide hat. He looked directly at Ethan. Then he smiled. "Are you coming?" the old man asked calmly. Ethan hesitated. "This train, where does it go?" The old man leaned forward slightly. "Somewhere very few people ever get to see." Ethan laughed nervously. "That doesn't sound like a normal subway line." "It isn't." The old man's eyes sparkled. "This train goes to tomorrow." Ethan raised an eyebrow. "Tomorrow?" "Yes," the man nodded, "but only for people brave enough to step inside." Ethan felt a strange curiosity growing inside him. He looked around the platform. Still, no one noticed the train. It was as if the entire station had forgotten it existed. Ethan turned back toward the doors. His heart started beating faster. "Okay," he said. "Why not?" He stepped inside. The doors closed instantly. The train began moving. But something strange happened. Instead of the usual loud subway sounds, the tunnel outside became silent. Completely silent. Ethan looked out the window. The tunnel lights began stretching into long glowing lines, almost like stars in space. What's happening?" Ethan asked. The old man chuckled softly. "We are leaving the present." Ethan swallowed. "This is a joke, right?" The old man stood up slowly and walked toward him. "No, Ethan Walker." Ethan froze. "How do you know my name?" The man smiled again. "I know many things." The train suddenly accelerated. Faster, faster. Then everything outside the windows turned white. For a moment, Ethan felt weightless, like floating in the air. Then the train stopped. The doors opened. Outside was New York City. But it wasn't the same. Towering glass buildings reached far into the sky. Flying vehicles moved silently between skyscrapers. Giant digital screens floated in midair. Ethan stepped out slowly. "What? What year is this?" The old man followed him onto the platform. "The year 2120. Ethan's eyes widened. "That's impossible." The old man shrugged. Most important discoveries once seemed impossible. People walked past them wearing sleek, futuristic clothing. Some had glowing wrist devices projecting holographic screens. A robot rolled past carrying coffee cups. Ethan stared in disbelief. This is the future? Yes. But this is only one possible future. Ethan turned toward the man. "What do you mean?" The old man pointed toward the giant skyline. "The future changes depending on the choices people make today." Ethan frowned. "So why bring me here?" The expression became serious. "Because, Ethan, you are connected to something that will happen soon." A loud explosion echoed somewhere in the distance. People began shouting. Alarms started ringing across the city. Ethan looked up. A massive digital news screen suddenly appeared in the sky. A message flashed across it. "Global system failure. Emergency protocol activated." The city lights flickered. Then half the skyline went dark. Ethan turned back toward the old man. "What is happening?" The man spoke quietly. "This is the moment everything begins to collapse." Ethan's heart raced. "You said this is only one possible future?" "Yes," the old man nodded. "And you are here because you might be the one who can change it." Ethan stared at him. "Me? How?" The old man slowly pointed toward the train. "Because this train does not only travel to tomorrow, it travels to every moment that can change the future." The train doors opened again. Inside, the lights flickered softly. The old man stepped inside. Then he looked back at Ethan. "Well, are you ready to save the future?" Ethan took a deep breath. He looked once more at the strange, futuristic city around him. Then he stepped back onto the train. The doors closed, and the train began moving again. But this time, it wasn't going to tomorrow. It was going backward in time, back to the moment where everything started. And Ethan was about to discover something shocking. The disaster that destroyed the future had something to do with him.